Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Corporate Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week by the bit of paper that came off my lap tray. It's Mikey G. Wolfie 3. Hello, Mikey.
I sometimes feel you have too much crap around your room.
No, it's just on my desk. It's not around the room. It's just specifically on the desk. It's too much work to look around the room. I only look around the room if there's nothing on the desk, which I haven't said that you are before.
I only look around the room if it's quiet and I hear a sound.
To be fair, Dave, when I was editing the show with you and Dave on, he didn't give me a fancy name, so, you know.
Well, no, but he never did back in day.
I know. You were upgraded when we started doing podcasts. I started giving you titles. Luxurious titles of that of dukes and duchesses.
That was an interesting flashback to days gone by.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because, for anyone who hasn't been around long enough, I actually only came in... I came in once for, you didn't have anything to talk about, and I'd been chatting to you for a while, and we did a review of Spotlight Ramjet, the greatest comic ever written. I don't care about Your Mord Meets the Eyes and Your Robots in Disguise. It's the greatest comic book ever written. Atomic Robo, not a Spotlight Ramjet. Robbie Musso, where the fuck did you go?
Mm-hmm. Alan Moore, take notes, bitch.
Where did he go? Years we wanted him back. Years. You know who I would really like to be drawing the comic right now?
Yeah.
Robbie Musso.
That'd be good.
But if you haven't read Spotlight Ramjet, as someone who is not super in love with the Asian era, read Spotlight Ramjet.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Also read Spotlight Cup. For different reasons.
Yeah.
Don't read many of the others.
No.
But yeah, so I came in when Andy went on holiday, actually. To BotCon.
Yeah, when I went to BotCon, yeah.
Yeah, and I never really left after that.
No, pretty much. No, that was... When I left for BotCon, that was pretty much the end of Dave.
Yeah, you left. And then you came back, and Dave said he was taking a sabbatical for a while, and then he
never came back.
We checked the room one day, and he'd taken all his stuff out, but we'd been checking every day. I don't know how he removed all that stuff at once.
Yeah, it was teleporting, like Mr. Scotty.
Yeah, he left Grace behind, which was strange.
Odd, yes, because he wasn't dating her at the time.
Yeah, it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
But that's temporal mechanics. What can
I like to think that Heart of Darkness was the final nail to push Dave out of the fandom.
nearly fucking killed me.
I know.
Oh my god. And yes, you can go and listen to those on the Underbase.
You can,
if you want.
yeah.
Because that's still going, because Amy hates me.
Is it weird that I find that the artwork from Heart of Darkness is slightly comparable to the art we're getting at the moment?
I think it's more consistent nowadays.
I thought you were going to say with Heart of Darkness.
Well, it's definitely consistent then.
Yes,
but
it was.
In its terribleness.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, you want to talk about proportion issues. Why did Cyclonus have a schmig?
Who knows?
Why did he have a little metal schmig?
I remember your thing back then was always you were betrayed by Guido.
Guido and Casey would do the covers for that.
That's
and
right.
Every time those covers were fantastic.
Oh yeah.
They were so well colored, well lined, well drawn, dynamic. Not to mention the whole cover where Arcee is groping Galvatron takes on whole new meaning these days.
Oh yeah, that's some incest stuff, yo.
Hey bro, let me feel your inner thigh.
Yeah. Wow, that's some Tumblr shit, isn't it?
Yeah, the dodgy, the Tumblr shit back in day.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people talk about, comics that don't age well with Arcee in it. Spotlight Arcee ain't the only one.
No. Wow, man, strange times.
Man. And nothing that happened in that comic mattered. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. It barely mattered to anything.
What about Bumblebee? I don't think the Bumblebee miniseries really mattered in the end of things either.
Bumblebee was there to show Bumblebee was tough and to give him a new body at a time where no one could even stick to the same body for the art.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, man. I think Bumblebee was the first of the IDW comics which I really disliked heavily. heavily
Yeah, it was the first one I properly disliked, because the other ones I could find something, at least I thought the concept was interesting.
Like, I was much more forgiving myself.
Like, love it or hate it. At like just a very base core idea, the concept of Spotlight RC has sci-fi potential.
Yeah.
The execution and the broader implications are a different story, but
yes,
the just the raw base DNA of what if something did this. Like, you could at least see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Bumblebee. What was the point of that? Apart to make, I remember the big takeaway from that was Wheeljack was a jackass.
Yeah.
I remember that distinctly.
Bumblebee was kind of dumb as well, because he got taken out by humans, if I remember something.
And, like, of course, John brought a character back from that.
Of course, because it's John. Yeah.
Yeah, because nothing is allowed to go away, even if it kind of should.
No.
But, yeah, that was the first one I could say I properly couldn't find anything I liked about it. Like, followed by Heart of Darkness, which put Bumblebee in perspective. But
it's not that bad, is it? Yeah.
It's flawed.
Yeah.
It's
not insulting.
That weird miniseries era was strange.
It was, yeah. There was always, like, a new miniseries, but then they decided to turn the Asian series into a miniseries to finish it off, which was a bad call as well.
Very strange. But like, that last four, that what was it, Devastation? I think it was.
No, it was Revelations was the last one.
Yeah, it was the 4 spotlights.
Yeah, that was Revelations, I think.
Failed as spotlights and failed as an arc.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Oh, especially Sideswipes. Sideswipes. That was terrible. Like, that killed the Dead Universe storyline and told you nothing about Sideswipe because he's in 3 pages. and what I did tell you was that Sideswipe was a prick.
Pretty much, yeah.
Ugh.
What a strange time. Yeah, I suppose this is almost like a mini version of you and Dave talking about it as well, right?
Well, he liked that era a lot more than I did. Because for me, where he thinks it gets problematic, I think it all gets better. Okay. Broadly speaking, because he puts forward some interesting arguments, but if I'm honest, I think some of them are somewhat dated arguments.
Okay.
Particularly to do with who comics are aimed at.
Right.
Because he put forward an argument about who the primary target audience for Transformers comics should be, and I would say I would disagree as to who any comic is aimed at these days.
Right.
Broadly speaking, of course. But that's a spoiler for a show that's not out yet.
Yes, it's up on Patreon at the moment, but will be up next week. Saturday next week. Saturday. So you'll be getting 3 podcasts this week. You'll be getting this one, the comic show on Wednesday, and then that extra kind of not comic-y show on Saturday. So yeah, lots of pooping this week. Lots of podcasting for you to listen to. But you and I, Mikey, have Transformers news to talk about on this week's show. Not much, even less than usual, I'd say. But we'll kick off with the Mechanics Studios X Dr. Wu MC-02 Microscope, or Microscope as most people call it, Revenge of the Fallen Scalpel. This came out just as we finished the podcast last week, but we're not going to go back and re-record stuff. And it's just a coloured version of Scalpel, who we talked about a while ago, so this is what the final product will look like. He has mean little red, orangey, well, no, they are orange eyes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem to really be painted as such. Like, a lot of it seems to be different shades of colored plastic. There are some bits that are painted, like there's a metal tube which seems to be painted silver, but for the most part he seems fairly unpainted. Probably will help for not getting scratched or damaged or anything like that.
Yeah. And at that scale as well.
Yeah, exactly. How do you think he's turned out? Because we both thought that his microscope mode was a bit weird, and I will say even finished it still looks weird. Odd.
It looks like a set of fingers folded up.
Yeah, we said that last time. We said it looked like a hand for Predaking, and I still stand by that.
It's not a microscope.
No.
It barely even in any way looks like one, but I will, physics from turning it to that design,
And being at the scale that it is as well.
My overall opinion of it hasn't changed, but I will say I really like the paint job on the eyes.
Yeah, they're nice.
It's so bright. I actually thought at one point they were like electronic.
Oh, right, okay.
in some of the photos before I realized it was painted, but I really like it. It's those really pop. My overall opinion of the figure hasn't really changed, but no, I think that's a really, really cool eye job.
I would definitely say that this is, unless the Studio Series at some point gets around to doing this should be your version of Scalpel, because let's be honest, the official movie one that came out whenever it did,
garbage.
It's not, yeah, exactly. It's one, not very good to look at. This looks a lot better than that, even though that this is, a bit wobbly on its alt mode. I'd prefer this. And if I remember, it had like real bad cracking issues with its ball jointed legs.
Yeah,
Were they ball jointed? I think they were. It was something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it was quite limited in its articulation. This isn't going to be like beating a Figma or Figuart or anything like that. But it seems to have a decent amount of hinges and ball joints to get them to scatter around like a little tiny crab for the most part. So if you're looking for a Scalpel, this is probably your best bet, I would guess, unless, you buy this because Sod's Law and then a Studio Series announces one. But, you can't predict the future. And if you can, please tell us so we can win the lottery and get some money.
Yes, I require your objects.
Not money, just Mikey requires objects.
Objects!
So send all your plastic bins to Mikey. And other just random stuff you can get from Wilkinson's.
You can fit a
Mikey,
table in the post.
What would you take us on to next, sir?
Next up, we have Mastermind Creations reformatted Optus Pexus revealed, otherwise known as an Optimus Prime I'd actually buy if it was reasonably priced.
That's a terrible name.
Yeah, I don't know what it means, but it sounds vaguely like Optimus Prime. So this is this is based off an IDW Optimus, maybe not the one you were thinking. This is based off of the Stormbringer IDW Optimus. Not 100%. I'd say it might be closer to the version of this design that showed up in Morden Meets the Eye, which had some differences, minor ones, but they were different.
Do you think it's more of a blend between those two?
Yeah, I also think there's a bit of stylization as well, because that head is not what was in the comics.
No, oddly enough, looks a bit like Big Convoys. A little bit.
I think it's because it looks relatively flat.
Yeah.
So we've only got a couple of pictures, and the goal of these is to show, 1, he has a quite complicated looking back, 2, he has a matrix, and 3, they are going for posability in this fella.
Yeah, superposing.
Yeah, so he's got at least 2, maybe 3 shoulder joints, including one that sort of raises his arm above his chest window section. And like creates some sort of butterfly joint effect. He's got articulated fingers, but he's got a waist crunch, he's got ab crunch, he's got toes, he's got a real deep knee bend. He looks like he's probably going to have double jointed elbows, at least 2 neck joints. Yeah, no, I like what I can see of the design, because unfortunately, while this is a good way of saying like, hey, this is our big selling point, it's also not a great way of saying like, here's what our toy looks like from the front. But I am definitely digging this thing. Definitely interested. I've always liked the basic Stormbringer, Cybertronian, Optimus style design. And yeah, I like this take in it. I'm interested in this take in it, and I hope to enjoy it when it is fully revealed in all its big robot glory. And hey, it's an Optimus Prime that I would have in my house.
Wow.
Which is a novelty these days.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think, Andy?
I too, like, first off the bat, it's an Optimus Prime, so I kind of shrug my shoulders a little bit just because, it's another one. But like you said, at least it's an interesting design. I think it's quite hard to describe the joints that you were talking about.
Yeah, very. Because
you need to look at the pictures.
Yeah, because I didn't realize really what was going on until I looked at it in some depth.
Yeah, it's maybe people with better word vocabulary than the two of us for talking about toys and articulation would have an easier time. But it is
bendy bits.
The bendy bits, the bits that move, it does the things, so he moves in one. I really like the hands on it. They seem very poseable as well, but I don't know whether they'll look weird, like when you try and pose them yourself, because you always have that problem when you are playing with a toy that has articulated fingers, sometimes they'll either look a bit too skeletal, or
fists are sometimes the problem.
Fists, yeah, exactly. Sometimes just getting them to line up and look natural can be a little bit tricky. So it'd be interesting to see how that's done. But yeah, overall the design is good. I enjoyed the Stormbringer look, or Stormbringer-esque, I guess. Design was always one I thought was quite nifty, as it was clearly it wasn't an Earthform Optimus Prime, and it wasn't overly bulky like the Fall of Cybertron design was, or the
War Within.
War for Cybertron. Yeah, or the War Within one. They were a little bit too on the chunky side. This is a nice kind of mix and overall a decent look. I don't want to say I'm concerned they'll be doing a Megatron to fit with the Optimus Prime, but I'd be like,
they kind of did.
Did they?
I mean, like, the Morden Meets the Eye one does have a Cybertronian digger mode.
Oh, no, that's true.
You swap out the parts to give them the minor form.
Yeah, kinda.
That, like, I would like, because I'm not super in love with the IDW Cybertron era War Megatron. It's not my favorite design, but it would be nice to have a dedicated one. And maybe for them to redo the Morden Meets the Eye one by giving him a proper alt mode would be nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'd feel about another H-Tank Megatron.
Oh yes, they have abused us with that.
Yeah. Can't make no guns, so just H-Tanks, nothing else.
Everyone is a tank.
Yeah. I still prefer the floating brick of the Fall of Cybertron games, even though it's stupid. But no, this looks hella good. Interesting. I'm sure it's Mastermind Creation, so they, I think it's fair to say they do some pretty decent transforming toys anyway, so I don't think we have too much to worry about for that. I look forward to seeing more pictures in the future. Yeah. Oh, Mikey.
Yes.
How about they do the Dinobots with a Y?
Why are you alive?
That's a question I always ask in the morning.
It's worse when they release the Dinobots as normal and then have a Y in there. Just like, because they don't know what a dinosaur is, so they're spelling it with a Y.
Is that the more do you find that more insulting?
No one fucking cares.
I wonder if they're legally allowed, if they released third-party Dinobots, but they spelled Dinobots with a Y. Could they get away with it?
I don't know.
No, I'm not sure either.
I think they have a Grimlock in the works.
Which one? The Dinobots with a Y? Or just Mastermind in general?
Just Mastermind. I think they have a Grimlock out. Like, I've seen concept stuff for a Grimlock a while back.
Yeah, no, it's the design that you really fucking hate because it's the one where he has the teeth showing in his robot mode face.
I always hate that design.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that one, right?
I don't mind the grills on the side of the face like IDW had. I hate those fucking fangs. Just like,
I think they look cool.
I think it'd make him look like he's from Attack on Titan.
I think it'd only be lame if he talked, they moved.
They do.
Then that's lame. If they just are static and they don't
because
move,
there's lots of art pieces where he's talking and you just see this.
Then they did the wrong thing because that's a bad call in my opinion. If it's just static and doesn't move, I think that's okay. It's a bit of a strange design, but I'd be okay with that. But yeah, if you have it gabbing away, that's a bit on the odd side, I guess. But yeah, Optimus Prime, I guess, right? Shall I take us on, Mikey?
Yep.
Right. Generation Select. We talked about the G2 Megatron was shown. Mr. Jason Kirk informed me yesterday or the day before that these are not charged at a higher price point than regular releases. They're about the same price anyway.
Going to say that was one of my big positives when we see the price here. I think these are very reasonably priced.
Yes. I still have... I'll tell you, I did think this week, do I buy that G2 Megatron? Because I'd like to see more of this version instead of the continuing wrong versions that they keep on giving us. But in the back of my head, I keep remembering when I went round to Dave's that one time and I played with the Siege one and just didn't like the mold.
But Andy, this is the Earthrise one. This is the Earthrise one, Andy.
Jesus.
Earthrise.
And I kept thinking to myself, I'll get it, I'll love how it looks, and I'll just not want to ever touch it. At least turning it to vehicle form. And, there are some people that are like, well, you can still enjoy it, but I think at the very least you should enjoy transforming it as that's you are paying for that, and that's
yeah.
They're Transformers. It's in the name. It should be enjoyable to transform, which is why I don't buy masterpieces. So I was kind of in that caught between. I still am. But one of the other things that was revealed this week was, it was a rumor at first, and then it was confirmed that we're getting a G2 Sandstorm. Sandstorm not being Sunstorm, but being a version of one of the coneheads. Which conehead is it? Is it Thrust? No, it's not Thrust. Dirge?
You can usually tell by the wings.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember whose wings are whose.
It might be Ramjet.
It might be. It's one of the coneheads that isn't Thrust, because Thrust has the most interesting wings. And they've decided to go back to a concept that was never used, which is a desert from G2, which was a desert camo version of this conehead in desert colors. So that's like your beiges and your browns, and also on the wings it has a deserty camo style, and then on the nose cone it has a old school tiger like shark painted look to it that they used to throw on those old World War planes. Was it World War? It was World War One planes that they put them on, right? Or was it World War Two?
I think it might have been two, but don't quote me. And I've seen them on modern planes, like in the last 40 years, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I always remember seeing them on like model, like little metal planes that you could get as a kid. And I always liked those ones with the shark faces or whatnot.
It might have been one, because there was a lot more dogfighting in one.
Maybe, I'm not sure. Either way, it looks fairly interesting for a color scheme. I kind of wish that the camo had been transferred over to the robot mode a bit more. I know it wasn't on the original design that they were going for, but because it was never released, you kind of get a bit more. I think you're a bit more free to do what you'd like to, and maybe bringing that camo not to the entire robot, but little bits here and there, just to again break up the beige, because it is very hard beige.
Yes.
Would have been nice, but overall, I think it's not the most interesting thing to do, but it's quite nice. It's better than fucking Red Wing, who no one gives a shit about, and it has no references to anything really. So at least there's this. Mikey, what do you think of these two? Then I think we kind of talked.
Yeah,
enough
my
about
opinion
but...
on Megatron and Jane. Sandstorm, I think, looks good for what he is.
Yeah,
but they did it again.
They did it again.
You said we're going to do a G2 color scheme.
Yep.
And they did it again. Like, have you, Andy, ever heard of two toys called Action Master Thundercracker and G2 Ramjet?
I am aware of them.
That they are the most of their time.
Yes.
This is a strange question, but if you're doing a G2 set with a toy that is so G2, it's like the face of G2. Why not just do G2 Ramjet?
It is strange. I was actually thinking about this today while having a poo. Do you think it would be better if for Generation Select, because it is it's just repaints for the most part. It's very rare to get anything else for repaints. Do you think it'd be a good idea maybe to put down 4 color schemes, show what they look like, and get people to vote on them? And
oh god, no, that never ends well.
But at least you'd give people the option.
Yeah, but you'd have development time. Like, you would get a lot less toys that way.
I don't think you'd need to develop it, because you're just doing a digibash effectively. You have the stock photo of this toy, and then you go, how about we slap on a different color scheme? And you can do that in Photoshop. People do that on Twitter. So if people on Twitter can do that, a business could easily do that.
I think there's one thing to say with the fan vote. I think it's another thing to do in that in regard to essentially an entire subline.
Okay.
And 2, I think that you just end up with I know they're doing the normal standard choices, but at least there's a chance of them going left field. You would not get I've made a reference during the week. Like, we could have had Trax versus Needle Nose. We got Mirage and Impactor because people wanted Impactor.
Yes. Yeah.
And so people did not make what I would consider to be the right choice in that regard. I realize I'm a minority, but I don't think you're going to get the more interesting takes that we might get in the future if you're going... Because one of the problems at the moment is that they're trying to do what the fans want, inverted commas. And it's leading to, in my opinion, quite a stagnant toy line and that I'm just disengaged from.
That's true, but with a thing like Generation Select, which is, it's not sold in stores, so it is focused purely at the fans. I think focusing on what the fans in quotations might want more wouldn't hurt that specifically. I do agree with the actual toy line itself that they should try and do something different and unique, but with Generation Select. Like, for instance, the G2 Megatron. Imagine if this G2 Megatron was put up against the purple one and the white one. My cynical mind would say people would have chosen the wrong one. But my hopeful side, because I've seen so many people talk about when they think G2, they see this green one. We would have got this one first, and we might never have got the white one, which is kind of, at least in my opinion, and the purple one, which is a boring version of this. So we could have got this potentially sooner, for instance.
Maybe, but you have more hope in humans than I do.
That's true. I wonder if doing this figure, this conehead, like, you know how Thrust and Ramjet, or no, Dirge and Ramjet have came out as a 2-pack. Maybe doing Dirge and Ramjet just as Sandstorm and G2 Ramjet might have been a better idea. Maybe. And then they could make a third G2 version out of like some stupid colors or something like that. Like Oh no, because there was another G2 color scheme which I saw someone bring up, which was the sky version of one of them. Did you see that?
No, I don't know that one.
It's again one of the cone heads, but the colors on them are pretty much so it looks like it's camouflaged in the sky, so they kind of got a cloud texture to the wings. It's not one of the more interesting G2 colors, mainly because the robot mode doesn't have any like really garish offensive colors in the robot mode. I would have slapped some yellow in there probably to make it go there. But the idea behind it is like it fits in with this kind of idea of they're camouflaged, I guess, sort of in the sky. So I don't know.
Camouflaged in the sky.
Oh no, that kind of works. If you're wondering, the price on both of these are $29.99. Currently, I don't think they're too hard to get the pre-orders in for, as they are on pre-order at the moment. I remember I was perusing the kapows yesterday and the day before, and they're on there, and they're due for December, apparently.
Cool.
So there you go. At least the Megatron is the other one. I don't. If it was up there, maybe it's gone, but it's not on the front page anymore. Either way, if you want, he's there, and you can go to other places as well. Any other thoughts then, Mr. Mikey?
Not in these.
Okay. Is there a G2 figure that you know of that's out at the moment or coming out in the not too distant future? Because he did predict Bug Bite, by the way.
Yes, we didn't mention that in the news here, but yeah, Bug Bite's been revealed.
Yeah. It's an exclusive and a mercenary, which I guarantee is a thing that will die off in maybe 5 years' time.
I think it'll die faster than that.
I'm being generous.
I'm surprised if it'll survive Earthrise.
Yeah,
but
because it doesn't make sense. The idea that mercenaries have their own special faction, because that's not what a mercenary is.
No, but yeah, it's a cliff jumper body, Bumblebee's head, all white.
Yeah,
needs the purple tats that the original Bug Bite classic figure had.
Oh yeah. The tattoos, the tribal design, that was really neat. That was only on the BotCon version, I think, wasn't it?
Well, there's only really been the BotCon version.
There's been like maybe one or two others.
I think there might have been like a repaint of the original G1 toy.
Right. Maybe I'm thinking of...
you might be thinking of the actual Bug Bite from GoBots.
No, I think what I'm actually thinking of are redo of third-party toys into Bug Bites, which could be... Oh, well, yeah. And they didn't have the tats on them, unfortunately.
But yeah, so it's hey, I've got psychic powers.
Yeah, so we're going to use your psychic powers again, Mikey, for Generation Select. Of the figures that are either out or we know are coming out, what do you think is more, or what would you, I suppose we'll go with what you would like to see used for the Generation Select line?
I think,
yes.
With some retooling, it would be interesting to turn Cheetor into Ravage.
Okay, interesting. We haven't seen what Cheetor looks like at all.
But that's right. Like, it would have to be a transmetal Cheetor though, since that was the base for the Ravage design in the show.
Yes.
A T-Rex would be a big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a really good one to do. Burning Convoy would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Black Arachnia or Arachnid from Animated or Prime out of the Black Arachnia. We're going. By the way, Black Arachnia is coming. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yes, we will.
But
Yeah.
I'd like either of those color schemes on that toy.
I think I prefer...
I'm assuming it's going to look like Black Arachnia.
Well, one would hope. I would actually kind of go for, even though the color scheme is similar, do you remember the Transformers Universe version of Black Arachnia?
Oh, yeah, I remember her.
I thought that was a pretty good color scheme. Actually, that's a really good color scheme for Tarantulas as well. Transmetal 1 Tarantulas.
Yeah. Lady Tarantulas.
Lady Tarantulas.
Yeah, since it would be a repaint of Black Arachnia into Tarantulas.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. I remember that the fan modded version of that from the Sakamoto comics. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, why not? And so on. Basically,
Yeah.
like there's quite a lot you could do with what's coming up.
I noticed that all of your choices was from the Kingdom range rather than the current stuff that's coming out.
Slicer. They're the upcoming. I would really like a Slicer.
You could probably do the desert version of Hound, the Decepticon dude, whatever he's called, and he could be friends and buddies, and they could hold hands and kiss.
You could
with
do
the
Black
G2
Ironhide.
dude. No, that's boring. You could do it though, but that's
you
boring.
could do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I don't know the current.
Toxitron.
Toxitron, of course, that would be a good one.
I've got one. Six Shot from Energon.
Yeah, no, that could work.
Because I like that color scheme, because again, it's a G2 garish color. And it would also make a toy that apparently you are very much into as well.
Yeah, no, it would be like, finally we got a repaint that I think would be interesting.
It doesn't have any repaints, does it?
It's got the Galactic Man.
It doesn't have any repaints, does it?
Nova, like I've said this, if you're going to do a big retool, Nova out of the Galaxy Prime.
Yeah, that works.
Even with a repaint, you could do that.
Yeah,
it would
be good
be
if
like,
they give him a new face sculpt, but yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be perfect, but a new face sculpt would be good.
Did they do a Diacron version of Ultra Magnus yet?
No, they didn't.
Okay, that's an easy one they usually go to.
Yeah.
If they want to do a terrible Ultra Magnus, they could do the P translucent version. If you remember that's a terrible version of Ultra Magnus.
They could redo Optimus and Magnus into RID colors.
Oh, the actual cartoon RID.
Yeah, 2001's RID.
That'd be interesting, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do G2 Constructicons.
No, Andy.
Metro
No one wants
Titan.
those. No one wants those.
Black Zarek.
No one wants those, Andy.
Gigastorm. Well, less so Gigastorm.
I mean, I'd take Gigastorm, but he's just not that big a change.
Yeah, that's the real problem with Gigastorm. You need to do a horn for him, and then it's kind of just you spray paint on.
You
scales.
take off a lot of parts and you give him spots.
Pretty much, unfortunately. Bless him. Oh, do you want a really shitty one, Mikey? Do you want a really crappy Generation Select version?
Yeah.
Megastorm. You get the G2 Megatron, and you give him eyeliner.
Yep.
Done.
And you take off a lot of the dark green.
Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah. That would be bad. Oh Jesus.
Oh, you know it'd be like I'd want it like retool, but even without a retool, do Earthrise Starscream into Beast Wars 2nd Starscream.
I saw like someone on Twitter put up a thing using a CAD model into that, and then putting him into the G2 smoke screen. You know that one?
Yeah.
And I was I felt annoyed because I was like, no, he's not Starscream. He's got a different body. Don't do this to my boy. And BB, I like those two boys.
They're good boys.
Yeah, they are.
Roger.
Roger. Mikey, do you want to take us on to listings? Listings are plenty.
Leaks! So, over the past week, we've had a ton of leaks, ranging from Studio Series to Generations to more stuff, basically. So, very briefly, with some Studio Series leaks, including some Masterpiece, some of these are confirming what we already heard. But there's a new Masterpiece Bumblebee.
Oh.
For $80. No one really knows what's going on. Probably movie Masterpiece. Slag and Daniel. We already knew about that. A Deluxe Jazz and Cup for the Earthrise line. Another Astro Train. I wonder what he will be. Jolt, Dino, and Sideswipe, Bumblebee, and Grimlock, and Starscream as well for Studio Series.
Mm-hmm.
And also I don't think he's mentioned in the later leaks, is he? No, he's not. But rumors of a Scourge.
Oh, okay.
Scourge the Tracker.
Not Scourge the Transmetal Fly.
No, or
he's actually
Scourge
pretty
the
cool himself.
Black Truck.
Oh, okay,
Who wants
yeah.
to paint it black? I see a red truck and I want to paint it black. But yeah, there's also a new Transformers Headmaster assortment. 3 of them.
Yeah,
so I'm
weird.
wondering, like, they've said before that they wanted to do new versions of the Japanese figures. I'm genuinely wondering if these are remakes of the Japanese exclusive Headmasters.
Which ones do you mean?
The Japanese exclusive We Are Only Headmasters.
Oh, right, okay, like the animal dudes.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
And after that, we have a ton of Kingdom ones, which may very well be the entire line for Kingdom.
Maybe.
So I'm going to preface this because I'm going to go through everything by size. If you are bothered by the idea of hearing what might be coming out in Kingdom altogether, please turn away now.
Sure.
Okay.
I never even considered it could be spoilers.
Yeah, but some people want to, like, unless it's an official announcement, they don't want to deal with it.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that's fair.
Enough.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's going to be at least 4 classes, not including Commander and Titan.
Oh, right. Okay.
We haven't heard anything about a Commander or a Titan, but I will ask you at the end of this for a Titan suggestion. So, and a Commander actually. So Core, which is seemingly some sort of small Legend Scout-ish Cyberverse class.
Are these comparable to the Battle Masters and Micromasters?
Maybe.
Right.
Except there's some odd choices here, and because I've been watching Build Divers this week, Core just makes me think you just like build robots around these. But Rat Trap.
Right.
Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Megatron.
Okay.
Starscream. And two unnamed toys called Fossilizers.
That's a great name.
So we don't know anything about these Fossilizers, except they're probably reptilian. But yeah, Rat Trap being a smaller toy makes sense if they are going for any kind of semblance of scale.
Sure.
But Optimus, Megatron, and Starscream being in this is odd.
Optimus and Megatron, I can think of something. You can do the alligator Megatron and the Bat Optimus, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't know what you do for Starscream, if it is on the smaller scale of things, at least.
That timey with Waspinator?
I mean, maybe we're giving them too much credit, and it's just a small version of those 3 guys.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I will say, overall, I am way more into what might be coming from Kingdom than I have been either of the lines we've had in recent years.
Now, potentially at least. I suppose it depends
until I
how
see
they
them.
deliver it. Yeah.
So, moving up into the Deluxe scale, Air Razor.
Okay.
Setting a challenge for yourself off the bat.
Yeah.
I will say I'm very nervous about these having animal modes.
Yeah, because we still don't know what it means. Are we doing robot animals? Are we doing animals? Are we? Not bothering.
I would really, really hope they'd have the sense to go robot animals.
Yeah, it's the safer option.
But we all know they're not going to do that. And hey, look what Masterpiece is able to accomplish and not able to. Like, look at the Masterpiece Black Arachnia, a toy I would quite like.
Sure.
And look at her beast mode.
It's fine.
It's fucking trying.
Yeah.
Because physics.
Yep.
But Cheetor.
Okay, yeah, an obvious choice, yeah.
Slammer, who I know that's a G1 character, but I don't know which.
I can't get out of my mind like a rabbit now, unfortunately, even though that's Stampy.
I thought you were going to say Pecker.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah.
Get a Stampy and repaint it in her colors. Or a moon. Like, do that with a moon, like all the money you'd spend on a moon.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Slammer is a little tank man that came with Metroplex that didn't transform.
Oh, fuck, of course, yeah.
Shadow Panther.
Okay, so repaint of Cheeto, fair enough.
Yeah. Warpath.
The tank?
Which actually... Yeah, but I think it's got big shoes to fill because I really like the classics Warpath.
Yeah, it's hella good mold. Yeah.
Great toy. Huffer and Pipes.
Okay.
Retools of each other, I'm assuming. Waspinator.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I like the Generations taking it just as an idea, it would be nice to get one that's a wee bit sturdier.
Yeah, that had a tendency to break as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people like getting pissed about this until I thought about it because they saw the classes, but Scorponok. Because people looked at this without looking at the classes. And we're like, we're getting a re-release of Scorponok?
No,
Why?
fool.
No. Tracks. So this would be a new mold, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And here comes the first of the kicks in the teeth, Wheeljack and RC.
Oh, you mean new molds of them?
I suspect not based on something coming later.
Yeah, agreed. Re-releases, a repackaging, kind of like Astro Train got, right?
Yeah.
Did that, like, how much did that happen with Earthrise? Because I remember that Astro Train got that.
Earthrise has very few like straight repackaging.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, like,
Bless you.
thank you. It has quite a few like severe retools.
Aggressive
Or
retools.
not so aggressive retools at times. But so unless they're getting new like alt modes, like I think it was Dave who said it wouldn't be nice if it was a repaint of Black Arachnia, like the Botcon toy was.
For who? Sorry.
For RC.
Oh right, yeah, that'd be all right. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be that.
Yeah, no. And like again, Wheeljack, I'd rather have Slicer.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Next up, we have 3 deluxe fossilizers. One doesn't have a name. One is Wingfinger. I'm guessing he's a pterosaur. And the other is Ractonite.
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 Ractonite. Okay.
I have no idea.
No.
Wingfinger I can go with, because Wingfinger is an actual term in paleontology.
Oh, okay.
Because it means the wing of a pterodactyl.
Oh, wow.
Because they have a very different wing structure, because their wing is made up of one giant elongated finger.
I did not know that. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. Moving on to Voyager. Cyclonus. Already heard about, and probably have already seen.
The Armada version, right?
That would be amazing.
That would piss off so many people.
I would love it. Optimus Primal.
Okay, yeah.
Probably not. Like, I'd laugh if it was just a retool of the core robot from Power of the Primes.
Oh, no.
When you all should have voted for Datsaurus.
Yes.
Tigertron. I like scale? I mean, tigers are bigger than cheetahs by a large degree.
It's just surprising that they didn't just do the repaint, because that's what Tigertron's always been. He's just been a repaint. Yeah. Well, from the original line.
Yeah, but hey, Masterpiece did it different as well.
That's true. That is true.
Next disappointment, G1 Inferno.
Oh yeah, the wrong one.
The
wrong
Inferno.
Yeah, kind of obvious though, because I'm surprised. I mean, this has to be like a hangover from Earthrise, right? Because there's no reason that it shouldn't have came out for Earthrise.
Yeah. Rhinox.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Another Starscream.
Oh, okay.
Another. So, please no.
Yeah.
I would put money down on a repackage.
What, from the Earthrise? It's just the Voyager Earthrise again.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be lame. You might be right, but that's lame. If that's
Voyager. Next one is a Voyager Dinobot.
Okay, yeah. To do anything Dinobot-wise, that's probably safer than trying for a Deluxe.
Like, I like the core design of the Universe Deluxe. Oof. I think the toy execution is not its friend.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Especially those legs.
Oh boy.
But like, I like the gimmicks and stuff like that. But like, if you want to do one that turns into something vaguely in scale with the show, which means he's fucking huge. And 2, can at least pretend to do something with that dinosaur kibble and robot kibble.
Yeah.
Now, next up is Leader, and I saw some people get real excited about this. I would preface it, but do you really think this is Leader as you really want it to be? Because I'm guessing at least 2 of these are retools. Or one is a retool. One is... So Optimus Prime is in here, and according to the listing, he's listed as Optimus Prime PR, which is a package refresh, which is a term when a toy is re-released in a new package. So that is 3 lines, with, broadly speaking, the same Optimus Prime. And before people go on at me about Earthrise being very different, I know they've retooled it, but it's the same fucking design.
To be fair, though, this is only the second time you've had the opportunity to get his amazing trailer.
Oh, good. Third time? What about Dead Prime?
Oh, that's true. That is true. Yes, my bad. My bad.
But if you want that trailer, if you want to pay that much for that box...
It's coming back, baby.
I'm saluting you. Earthmo's Ultra Magnus, which I would love to see how you'll work that into the narrative of the show.
So wait, is this just the Ultra Magnus from Siege again?
I would say probably, except they've like retooled the vehicle mode a bit.
Oh, so it's a bit more Earth modey.
And maybe a different, like they've retooled the core robot to look a bit more like white Earth Prime.
I guess the only benefit, or the benefit you could say, will be probably won't have the dirt on it.
Yes, well, you'd hope so, but you never know.
That's true.
But yeah, like I'm having seen the show now, I'm very curious how this will be worked into the series.
Maybe it's a dead version. Spoilers. I don't care.
We had him scan a robot car. We had him scan a car. Why? I thought he would bring him back. Galvatron. I would have said this would be a retool of
the Megatron.
Tank.
Yeah. Oh God.
If they want, but I mean, if they want to go G1, they kind of have to do a new mold.
You'd hope so.
But again, I don't like. I could easily see them say we're retooling the Megatron.
But then, what would he come with? Do you think he would come with extra pieces to beef him up to the leader price point and turn him into a cannon?
Maybe because without that, and if we're assuming he's actually a Voyager in a box, what's he coming with to beef him up to the leader price point?
Well, I suppose the thing is like it doesn't need to be a big.
What if it's Beast Wars second Galvatron? And this is just left field.
I don't have that much hope.
I don't. I want it to be though. I love that toy.
It would be really fun because it'd be so off left field.
Yeah, like hello, Dragon Tank Man, drill.
Yeah, I guess the problem is like we're getting Scourge and Cyclonus, so the likelihood is pretty low.
But think of it narratively, like they're expecting they're do the Marvel thing. They're time travelers. They've traveled back in time and just like Galvatron will lead us. You are not who I was expecting.
This is a surprise.
Why are you grimacing all the time? And the last one, and probably the most interesting one, Beast Wars Megatron. So if he's a retool of a tank, I'm impressed.
Yeah, agreed.
Would
he not be a retool of Dinobot?
Oh God, you could maybe
depending on how it works.
Yeah, I'd say their transformations would have to be quite different.
They would, yeah.
And also, you'd hope he would be a little bit bigger because Megatron's slightly taller in robot mode.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Because yes, I do remember the scale of pretty much everyone in that show. Yeah, but like I said, I am way more into this than I have been in a while, because while there are things in here I find disappointing, oh my God, they're doing new versions of characters who aren't from the first show. And there's a bit of variance, and there's original characters in here at deluxe scale. Could be interesting. I'm wondering if Fossilizer might just be Modulator as well.
Oh, yeah, because since we don't have the Micromaster bases, I suppose this could be the new version of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very curious. So I had a thing. Like, presumably we will get a Commander and we will get a Titan.
Yes. You'd imagine so.
What would you be thinking?
For Commander, is this just like balls to the wall, I can do anything? Or is this like...
You can do it... We'll do balls to the wall, but you also... If your balls to the wall is completely off the wall, you have to say what you think it's likely.
Okay, balls to the wall, big convoy.
Okay, that's a fine choice.
It's off the wall, though. It's probably not going to happen.
I want it, because can you imagine, like, big mammoth guy with a cannon?
Yeah. Oh, man, you know who you do him as? Sentinel Prime. So you paint him up orange.
Yes.
And he's just gone crazy. More realistically for a Commander, who have we had for Commander? We've had Jetfire and who's the other one?
Skylinks.
Oh, yeah, Skylinks, yeah. I think Skylinks would have been a safe one to use for this series, though. I don't know, to be honest, because I don't know who you do who's big but not super big. Like, from watching...
Tidal wave.
That would be cool. I would have said Astro Train given the end of Siege, because he was just stupidly oversized to the point where you're like, but he's a Voyager? But that's not the case. Broadside. Blech.
Oh, God, you probably just picked it.
Blech. That would be lame.
So, yeah, I'd actually put money on Broadside now.
If we're going for, like, Beast War stuff, Rampage might be quite cool.
Rampage would be cool.
Because he needs to be a big boy. Anyway.
Yeah, he needs to be...
Tiger Hawk?
Tiger Hawk. Yeah, that would be an interesting... You could do Optimal Optimus if you really wanted to, but I'd rather you didn't.
Agreed.
Like Transmetal Megatron. Or
Which
Transmetal
one?
2 Megatron.
Oh, the Dragon one. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Also, please do Transmetal Megatron. I love that.
It's an easy repaint into Cryotech, as you love doing it.
And with roller skates.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Race car, dragon car. like I said, Galvatron would be great.
Yeah.
Galvatron. I would do, like, take advantage of this whole, we're not really doing size classes the same way anymore, and do BB and Starscream.
Oh, it's a two-pack kind of thing.
But just Commander, like, BB is a Voyager and Starscream's the Deluxe.
That could work, potentially.
Titan.
Now, who did you think? Because you said you had someone in your back pocket.
I mean, yeah, like, if you're going Beast Wars, I would say Gigastorm.
Yeah, that's an easy redo.
A very easy redo. Like, if we're going just in general, you've got maybe a few options, but not many, because we've covered the Titans.
I was going to say, who is there left that's from the original line, unless you want to do one of the newer comic Titans.
Yeah, but, like, this would be where I would say that would be where you'd release Black Zarek.
Okay, yeah.
Like, have him as the Titan for this line. But I don't think you'd be getting a new mold.
No. Maybe you'd get a new... Maybe you'd get a new face. Maybe.
What about you?
For Titan, Neo Unicron.
Yes, I love that fucking design. It's insane.
Yeah. They wouldn't do that because obviously we've got Unicron coming for the Hasbro Plus thing, or Pulse Plus? Pulse. That's the one, yeah. So probably not that. And like you say, we've had all of the Titans, so unless you go for a very slight retool with Gigastorm, or you go for a repaint, so maybe like one of the Guardians, which is a boring redo of Omega. Is there a
combiner they haven't done yet? Because, they've done Titan combiners.
That's true.
Magnaboss.
That'd be interesting, because you could do them as 3 Voyagers, I suppose. Yeah. Like the Tripredicus.
Or like Tripredicus, or see, I don't want Tripredicus. I want racist Mexican stereotype bugs.
Oh, hell yeah. That'd
Triple
be great.
Decus.
Yeah.
And I want them to come with a sombrero.
If instead they just go, he is God Neptune, that'd be pretty cool.
Cool. If they like released a God Neptune over here, see, do that as a commander.
Yeah. I think that'd be too big for a commander, just because there's so many dudes in there.
Yeah. But like Magnaboss would be, I think, maybe possible.
Maybe.
G1 combiner. Anyone? Who's left from the G1 combiners? A better a better Lyokaiser.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Lyokaiser, who kind of got shafted.
Who I have an affection for that core robot, but it's not what I would have done.
No, and Japan didn't get to have a go at it either, which is a bigger bummer. I don't think there's anybody else that they didn't get to do from that.
Release Megatronia.
That'd be good. That'd be all right.
I found a listing for her for €130.
That's pretty good.
Shipping 100.
That's not as good. Where was it coming from?
Sweden, I think.
Oh, that'd be why. Blech.
Filthy Swedes.
Yeah, damn your postage. Your terrible, terrible posts.
I'm trying to think, because they certainly covered most of the core combiners.
Yeah.
Raiden?
That could be interesting.
I mean, we've never heard anything about that masterpiece since.
I think the only thing that puts it off is a Western release, is because people don't fucking care about trains for the most part, as they do in Japan.
Road Caesar?
Wasn't Japan doing a Raiden, though?
Yeah, well, for the masterpiece, but we haven't heard anything since.
Oh, it was Masterpiece, okay. I forgot.
Oh, like, just complete left field. Do Dino King.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
But
great.
which shells that look better than the bloody ones that Fans Project did?
I'd say probably avoid the shells because I don't trust Hasbro to do that. I think just make them decent looking and characterful would be fine.
Yeah, give them like alt
don't
modes
make-
that are
just-
give them Dino alt modes that are based off of like what the shells look like.
Just not repaint of the Dinobots from Power of the
Yeah,
Prime.
no.
Just not that.
Like you have to design the robot mode so it looks as close as possible to the monster bot look.
Yeah.
But you retool the alt mode into dinosaurs that
Yes.
look like you give
Goryu.
Goryu, thank you.
Yeah.
You give him the big horn, and you
Yes.
give Kakaryu the weird like tree horns down the middle of his face and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It won't happen, but
No, because there's no joy in the world.
no.
And
And Japan was told not to have any joy.
Yeah, Japan's just sitting there like,
kneecap.
we have so many ideas.
No.
Like, we could. They're just like, slowly sitting there going like, do better versions of Select.
Mikey, what if this is its time, Mikey? What if it's time for Violent Jiger?
I saw something. I genuinely saw something a couple of weeks ago that made me think of Violent Jiger, and I don't like a toy. And I was just like, somewhere. If I meant to send it to you, but I never thought to. And I remember going like, Andy needs to see this.
Today is my day. It is the day for Violent Jiger to make his Western appearance.
Yeah. Also, now Violent Jiger has to be the picture for the show because we've mentioned him so many times, and there's so many people who have no idea who we're talking about.
The problem is there aren't many pictures of Violent Jiger.
Have you seen that Transformers animated opening where there's that big evil cape?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that.
Yeah, it is kind of that. Yeah, I might try and see if I can like shove it
oh
into
my
the background of
Googling
the
Violent Jiger right now.
I mean, it's a pain in the ass just to spell his name.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anything else on the front of listings, or is that it?
Not really.
Ah, well, Mikey, what have you been up to this week? As that's the news, folks.
I bought Violent Jiger.
No, you didn't. Don't lie.
You could do Dark Nova and Violent Jiger. Dark Nova is basically a Unicron with tentacles.
That's
Unicron
true.
The tentacle monster.
Yeah.
And it also turns into, I'm just looking at a picture here, which appears to be what I would describe as a Mazinger.
Okay.
With extra arms and tentacles. A lot of tentacles.
Well, Japan, you know.
Yeah.
Stereotype exists for a reason.
What did I do this week? Played Fall Guys.
Ah, yes, because it was free on your
PlayStation
your
Plus
thing. Yeah.
So I figured, why not? It's actually very fun, in all honesty.
Did you scream?
Oh yes, I actually started talking to the TV. I know I did not hit certain levels that certain YouTubers may have hit.
Yes.
Which VTuber. One of which I made the mistake of listening to with my headphones on.
Which one? Which one hurt you?
Nickname rhymes with flat.
Oh no, Rushia!
Yeah, Rushia. When Rushia goes.
Oh god, yeah. She blows the fuck out of her microphone.
I listened to one where she actually screamed so loud it couldn't recover, and she was like, and like the subtitles were just going like, oh god, and like the subtitles just went, I have no idea. But yes, but it's fun. It's fun. It's goofy. It's surprisingly like engaging, just because it's a very simple premise.
Yeah.
But it's fairly well executed. It's normally €15, and for that I think it's fine. But having gotten it for free and just playing away, and I've no intention of putting any microtransaction money into it or anything.
Nah.
It's a giggle. It's one of the things I could see myself picking up just for like I want to play something, but I don't want to think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do something which requires skill.
Have many people griefed you?
No, I have been the griefer.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have gotten into the habit, like, because especially on one level, which I just cannot pass the life of me. It's all these, like, rotating planks. Yeah, you just, like, they're balance beams. And they just go up and down and up and down.
Right.
And I can't finish it.
Oh, wow.
So if I get frustrated, I just turn around and start, like, pulling people off.
Oh no.
or just knocking them around. Just like, if I have to suffer, all of you have to suffer with me.
Are you talking about the seesaw one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You need to be near the front of the starting line, otherwise you get fucked so quickly.
Yeah. But yeah, like other ones I find like they're challenging, but not stupidly so.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice. But no, like I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it's a fun little diversion. The biggest game news this week for me was that I picked up Samurai Jack Battle Through Time and have been wandering around the house constantly going when no one's around. A foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword step forth to oppose me.
You should get the little child into Samurai Jack soon.
Oh, I will. Like,
excellent.
Once I can... Because they don't want her watching TV, so I've got to wait until she can do it, like, when they're not around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because they're like, oh, we don't want to rot her mind. And we're just like, fuck off.
I will rot her mind for you, don't worry.
I have a watch list. Arotsuka Doji at 7.
Oh, no!
It happened to me, it can happen to her.
You turned out fine. It's okay.
But yeah, so this is something I wasn't actually planning on picking up until I saw reviews.
Ooh.
Which were largely pretty positive, 7 and 8. 8's actually more common. It is a game done by Adult Swim Games of Samurai Jack, basically. Hack and slash platformer. Gendy's involved, but yeah, it's developed by Adult Swim Games, which is another reason I wasn't particularly keen on getting it, because, oh good, a game company owned by a television studio.
Yeah.
But no, basic story is, at the end of Season 5, Ashi, Jack's semi-girlfriend, opens a portal through time, and they jump in, and Aku's like, shit. And it's like, before they came out the other end of that portal, what happened?
Okay.
And basically Aku interfered. And this is canon, by the way.
I suppose if Gendy was involved, it probably would be. Sure.
And knocked Jack into sort of like some weird dimension, which is like an amalgamation of his various experiences.
Okay.
So you meet loads of characters from the show.
Yeah.
Like a ton. Obviously Scotsman's there. You meet the dogs, Dimongo. I remember Dimongo so well. Those hunters who were always chasing him. The weird bounty hunter couple who hated each other. 50 Feet Woman.
Did you meet the jump real good guy?
No, jump real good guy I haven't met yet.
Okay.
But I'm 4 levels in at the moment.
Okay. And
I think there's 10. I hope we do, because jump good is a skill that you unlock.
Oh, right, okay.
Because it's quite there's a fairly deep skill tree to this as well.
It's
a
lot
the
Dark
weapons.
Souls of Samurai Jack games.
Yes.
Excellent.
A lot of weapons. The thing is, most have a durability thing, so most of them will break on you by the sword and your fists.
Right.
The story is not heavy, and I can't imagine trying to play this if you don't know what Samurai Jack is, because it is not forgiving in that regard.
Okay.
It is like, do you know the basics of at least season 1 to 4? Yes? Okay. Otherwise, you're lost. Gameplay is surprisingly solid. It's combo system simple, but you can unlock more, and there's a level up system as well to the weapons. You shop with the samurai, if I remember him saying. And if you don't get that, again, it's unforgiving. But I like it. It's very charming. Like, they try... One problem is that it's fully 3D, and they spend a lot of it trying to emulate a lot of the visual techniques of the show.
Okay,
like,
I can imagine that's quite difficult.
Like, aspect ratio shifts a lot. Like, if you go to a side-scrolling section, the aspect ratio changes, so the black bars appear. There's a technical term for that, I'm sure. But and they do the multiple cuts and the different scenes and everything else. But those are designed specifically to work with the fairly imperfect drawing style of the show. And I'm including Season 5 in here. It is an imperfect drawing style, it purposefully so. Whereas when you've got these 3-dimensional models, it doesn't work as well. Also, the more damage Jack takes, the more naked he gets.
Oh no.
Until you're basically reduced to, like, at your most damage, his hair is flowing out and his whole shirt is gone.
Okay, so basically can you do the entire game on Lewd Run, where you're just in your tighties?
If you're very good.
Okay. So get good, people, and do a lewd run on Twitch.
But like, if you see in the show, there's these different what I'd call damage levels to his outfit. Okay. That are recurring, like the sleeves being ripped off or something like that.
So when he gets more health back, or does his health
clothes come back? No. You get health from sometimes from pickups.
Right. Does his clothes just pop back on then when he gets a pickup?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the visual shorthand for damage is clothes.
Okay. I kind of hoped he regens so his clothes would slowly grow back.
But no, I like it. I'm surprised. I'd say it's a 7 more than an 8. Okay. Not amazing. It's not perfect, but it's enjoyable, and it's very much like I am an absolute fanboy of Tartakovsky, and Samurai Jack is, in my opinion, one of the point blank best shows I've ever seen.
It's really good. If you haven't seen it. It's
amazing if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So I am very much the target audience. But I think it's where to go. Maybe, like, I got it for 40. And for me, I think as a big fan and everything else, it does scrape that price. But I think a 35 or 30 would be more reasonable for what it is.
Yeah, you'd say a sale's better. It kind of looks like one of those kind of games which back in the day you kind of consider a B tier game or maybe a C tier game, and yeah, you get it on sale or you get it pre-owned. And it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. And I will say it is linear, and you can play with just the one weapon, but I would recommend not because that can get repetitive.
It actually from the few game trailers it looked similar but better than. Do you remember the Afro Samurai game?
Yes.
Would you say it's similar to that? I'm not saying it's obviously 1-to-1, but similar in style.
No, I actually think that's fairly fair.
Okay, yeah, and that was an okay game. Yeah. Not amazing, but okay.
Not platinum, but
no. Well, no. I mean, you could say that it's probably better than the Korra game from Platinum because that was a bad game.
Yeah, that was shit. But
yeah,
no one gets 100%.
No, actually, how would it compare to Transformers Devastation?
Oh, no, Devastation is much better.
Okay, but would you put it in that kind of area?
Yeah, in terms of, like, it's a lot more platforming, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Devastation's a much better game.
Okay.
Because the Devastation is genuinely great.
Yeah, it was fun. Can't buy it anymore, though.
I can, because I'll buy it hard copy.
Yeah, that's the only way.
I've been meaning to do that, actually. But yeah, so TV-wise, Lucifer came back out of nowhere.
Are you watching Lucifer?
Yeah, I watched season 1 to 4 and I really liked it.
Oh, okay.
It's fun. It's fairly flippant. Has some decent emotional moments. Fantastic soundtrack. So season 5 came back. I started watching that first couple of episodes. They did something I wasn't expecting. Because I know there were trailers and I avoided them like the plague. Because these days I don't watch trailers if I can help it.
Yeah.
Unless it's something I'm super invested in and I want to get in the first impression. Especially after Spider-Verse, where I watched the trailer, hated the trailer, and then, well, I saw the movie. So you just can't trust trailers. But yeah, so Lucifer came back, and it's like season 4 ended, he had to go back to hell because shit was going down. Season 5 is about him coming back to deal with his brother Michael, his twin brother.
Okay. Who
looks exactly like him. And I thought they were going to play the whole season or because they've only half seasons out so far, but the whole season as, oh, Michael's pretending to be Lucifer. It lasts about half an episode.
Oh, that's good.
And they're just like, nope, we're not stupid enough to believe this guy who acts nothing like him is him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some interesting bits in it. It's getting a bit more experimental, like it does a noir episode, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, Lucifer is an interesting, like, Lucifer is a show I watched just completely at whim one day and turned out to be much better than I thought it was. I wouldn't say it breaks the mold for, like, comedy police dramas, which is what it is.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. Tom Ellis's American accent is terrible.
Is that Lucifer?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a British man, and Lucifer is played as British, but to differentiate them, one, Michael walks with a hump. Yeah, and two, he has an American accent.
Of course.
Which is kind of like hearing an American do an Irish accent. There's just this wonderful emphasis on everything. There's such a twang, as my mother would say. But no, it's fun. There's a very good fight scene at the end. of episode 8. Very, very good fight scene. Anime-wise, what did I do? I decided exactly what from this season I'm finally digging into. Not that much.
Oh?
Not that much this season at all. And I checked in case there was like a sleeper that, like a certain young lady I missed because of my biases. Not because they're like 7 episodes in and nothing really attracting attention, bar one show, which I haven't started, but I have ready to watch, which is ReZero. But yeah, there's a few different ones. I've got 4 basically, which is very low for me. Usually, I usually try most of them, but there's not that many animes out because of COVID, and there's not there are a lot of them are really safe genre stuff. Watched a few more episodes of the Monster Doctor show.
Oh yes, and
it's light fluff. It's fairly whimsical. It's fairly cute at times, and it has a surprisingly good fight scene in episode, I want to say 4 or 5. I don't think it's breaking the mold at all for... Basically, it is a mildly fantastical rom-com show. That's all it is. And that's fine. I mean, if someone's going in here wanting, oh my god, it's either Monster Musume levels of absolute insanity or Monster Musume levels of absolute we don't give a shit, look at the boobs.
Yeah.
You ain't getting that
right
on either account. I lean towards the insanity for clarification. But it's fairly tame, it's fairly relaxed. It's mildly cute.
Okay.
Some of its animation...
Would you say it's an easy pass, though?
Probably. It wouldn't be something I'd say go out of your way to watch it, but it's also something I'd say, yeah, you won't. I don't think you'll regret, flicking through a few episodes.
Right.
Some of the animation is a bit weird because a lot of shots are done with traditional animation, but a lot of wider shots are done with CG.
Oh, okay.
And it's unusual to see that differentiation on people. But it's not, I will say, it's fairly well done. It's noticeable, but it's not that, noticeable stopped emoting. Hey, Godzilla.
Hey.
But, yeah, I will say the CG thing is progressing, at least, technologically.
Right. Yeah, you'd hope so.
It's a long way before I think it's there to make it the mainstream approach to anime, but at least they've realized they need to keep the emotion and the emotiveness. Episode 24 and 25 of Gundam Build Divers. Re-Rise.
All right, near the end now, aren't we?
One more left. Okay. 24 is basically new cast versus old.
All right, yes. Because
they decide they're going to do a training mission. And the Maze carer, who is a character from the first show, I'm assuming, basically calls in everyone from the first show and all the mangas. To basically say, okay, you got to beat all these guys in a training simulation. And they go through 50 iterations of it. And it's kind of I don't get a lot of the references in the context because I haven't seen the first show, but it's interesting just to see the variety of characters that had appeared. And the original Build Divers are there, and they have a quite small role, and I appreciate that. Because I don't think you needed to go oh my god, these people are amazing. It's just oh cool, these guys are here.
Yeah.
As someone who hasn't seen the show, oh, they're unoffensive. I don't mind them. Yeah, I like lots of interesting suit design variants as well. But yeah, episode 25 is where it all goes crazy. Because it's the start of the final battle. They go into space using a new armor, the Nepdate, which, the opening for the second season?
Kinda, yeah.
There's a moment where one of the core Gundam armors flies at the screen, and it's all in black, and you were saying that's the sun?
Yes.
That's Neptune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the sun is in this.
Right.
Boy, was the sun in this in a way I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a big fight scene. It's fairly well handled. A new Alice Core Gundam was introduced, the Reverse Turn X, which kind of highlighted the fact that the Turn X is a very unique looking animal that doesn't really translate the way a lot of these things have translated.
No, Turn X is great, by the by. Love it.
Yeah, Turn X is a great design, but it just is not suited for this look.
No.
When the whole Turn X thing falls apart when there's just this tiny little purple man in the middle. But yeah, also very conspicuously missing Earth 3 Alice Gundam, so that's probably going to be in the last episode.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, spoilers for the end of it, but it has to be said. So I've talked about Build Fighters being more a Super Robot show than any other Gundam show. And I'm including God Gundam in that. Mm-hmm. To a point. God Gundam beats it in some ways. But especially stuff like the Tryon 3, which we've all talked about before. But this is the first time in a show which has the real Gundams, as in these are giant robots. That has a full-on Super Robot, obeys all the Super Robot rules, Super Robot in it. Like, that I know of. Like, Turn A, you can make the argument that it's a Super Robot, we just all pretend it's not. But, no, there's no pretending in this. This is a full-on combination sequence. The combined robot is much bigger than the components of its parts. It can blow up a moon Super Robot.
Okay.
The Re-Rising Gundam. It's a design that I really think came to the designers, like, after the COVID thing. Or at least when they were doing the redesigns for, like, the Aegis Knight and stuff, which I'm now convinced has to be a new mold.
Right.
Because no way in hell this is working otherwise. And yeah, it's a combination of the Core Gundam, the Woden Pod, and parts of the Valkylander and the Aegis Knight.
Yeah, it makes a real messy model from the model kit.
Yeah, it's not much better in the show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because it's just basically a giant pair of thighs with a robot on top. But I really appreciate, like, I think the scene involving it is really well done. Mm-hmm. And, like, it summons a gigantic glyph and is powered by the power of the planets, which converts into the power of the sun.
Okay.
Like, in the transformation sequence, the sun appears behind it, like, proper Super Robot style. And then it shoots a giant cannon beam glyph thing. I like the execution of it in the show. It's not a design. I would have cheated and done some streamlining, but I feel like someone said, okay, stick the toys together. We're going to add in a couple of adapter parts. This will work. We're not really going to clean it up.
Right.
But no, I like it. I like it for a giggle. It's just mad. I want some of the core components as kits, but I wouldn't have, like, I'd combine them once, go, and then leave them as the individual parts.
Yeah. It's there for the novelty for the toy, more so than anything else.
But yeah. I will say, I do appreciate that the kits that they want for the combination, which is the Uraven Gundam, the X-Valkylander, the Aegis Knight, and the Woden Pod Plus, are all kits you don't have to buy accessory add-ons for.
Oh, okay.
Because that has been a big problem I've had with the Re-Rise line. There's so many kits which just like, here's your core robot, here's all the stuff that makes it look like the one from the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, little slimy. Like, the Tertium Gundam did not need its big, like, javelin thing excluded. It didn't need it. But yeah. Build Divers, one more episode. I'm looking forward to it. I've really enjoyed this show. I really, really have. Really good timing for it, to be completely honest. Is there anything else anime-wise? Digimon, kind of an interesting episode. Interesting twist on an old idea. But it's a very difficult one to talk about without spoiling. The only other real thing of note would be Kamen Rider episode 4401, second to last.
Okay.
Kind of interesting, kind of not.
How so?
The whole premise of this is that Horobi has started basically telling everyone that Aruto's gone nuts, which he kind of has. And he's going to murder him, and Aruto wants to murder him. And the Humor Gears are freaking out because they suddenly feel like their rights are being threatened, and the one person who was fighting those rights has gone nuts. Right. And, like, if people fight back, they're going to, because their AIs, they'll analyze that as bad people do bad things, and that's going to become a core component of their psychology. So Vulcan, who's lost his powers at the moment because Aruto took everyone else's powers away from them, it goes to try and deal with him, and he gets a short-term form called the Ortrus Vulcan using Naki's key. And he's trying to talk him out of it, and the Metsubo Jinrai guys are all trying to talk Horobi out of this because they've all changed. And so on and so forth. And I like the social aspect of this. And I think the Vulcan scene is really powerful because it's Vulcan saying all the things that Aruto would be saying. Like Fua is saying everything that was once said to him. and Naruto's really ignoring him until he points out, "You're acting like I used to," and then Naruto flips. Like, he just starts beating the shit out of him, which I thought was kind of interesting. And there's some good visuals in this one, but it doesn't have the punch of the last couple, and it's because it's also like Harubi gets a new form at the end, and according to a trailer, there might be another new form in the next episode.
Right.
As well as bringing back 01 itself, which hasn't been around for ages. I think this is kind of highlighting that whether by COVID or writing errors, there's a relation, because what they're trying to portray here is basically Kaito Light. Your antagonist at the end is not evil. He has a perspective which will result in a lot of people dying.
Would you describe it as Clyto?
Yes, Clyto. Mm-hmm. The Scottish variant. But it's just the relationship between Naruto and Harubi is not very well developed.
No.
It's interesting in and of itself when it has been touched on. It's just very rarely been touched on. So, like, the one thing that's always kind of bugged me about Naruto is that they never really delved into the fact he's had fate in human gears who kind of were assholes. Like that one rapper guy who turned out actually just to be a dickhead.
Oh, God, yeah.
And Naruto was like, no, he did nothing wrong. He did. Like, if he's sentient, you have to accept the fact not all of them are going to be decent people. Some of them are jackasses. But the Harubi, this is very personal for the two of them. And it's unfortunately just kind of come down to someone killed their pets.
Right.
For want of a better term. So I would prefer that there was more of a relationship here that was exacerbated by the actions of recent episodes. I'm hoping they stick the landing, because overall I have enjoyed this arc, and I think if the show ends on an arc like this and it ends well, that will color opinions on the show for the positive, which I think is important because I kind of think the show needs the help. But I'm just waiting to see how it ends. One more to go. We'll see. Yeah, that's me, really.
You're all done.
Yeah. What about you, Andy?
What have I been up to this week? Podcast editing and uploading, since I said earlier I got those two comic shows done and up. I've also been continuing on with with Gaim. Kaito has turned into an overlord at the moment. Poor Duke's dead.
That was very satisfying.
Yeah,
that was so good.
I love such a good shitty person.
I just love the idea. How did he kill him? He punched him so hard he basically implanted him in a wall.
Yeah, but at a really wonky. The only problem I have with that is the angle that he goes into the wall. Yeah. It's really wonky and doesn't make any sense. We just kind of have to go.
He hits him like he's heading back towards the wall, and so he hits it so hard he flips into it like he was punched back. Yeah, he should have just been facing the wall.
Yeah, because if you imagine the wall is your flat surface, he gets punched and he's coming in at like a 30 or 45 degree angle, and yet ends up completely flat against the wall, as if he was punched at a 90 degree angle to the wall.
Yeah.
So it's odd, but I understand why, because it's easier to Photoshop not Photoshop, but After Effects the effect to look like that. So
also, like, you probably have to like show him embedded in the wall, which would probably have been a bit more visually dark than what they were aiming for.
Probably, yeah. It's like, just one of those things you have to accept and go, okay.
Yeah, conceptually quite dark, but
yes. Well, he does kind of throw himself off the roof after that, so that's still quite dark. As they cut away from him hitting the ground. Yeah,
he basically. There are two ways to read that. His bones are dust. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to escape and can't. Or he's basically like, his bones are dust. And he's like, I won't give you the satisfaction. Suicide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And again, he's an asshole both in TV and real life, so it's very satisfying.
It's weird that was the thing.
Yeah. Don't go to a restaurant with this man. But no, that's a good show, really, in its way.
Yeah, I've still got it. Like, the good thing about going back through the show is I went, I'm actually missing from episode 45 to 47 or 8. So I needed to grab the last 3 episodes. So I've re-grabbed them, and they'll be going upstairs at some point onto the hard drive so I can watch them. I've been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Yo-Yo. I've done a fair bit of that this week. So I did in terms of seasons, I've done season 1, but season 1 is broken down into 2 arcs. I can't remember the name of the arcs, but the first arc is 8 episodes, and it feels like it was, if it was a standard shonen series, it would have been 25 episodes and been far too long. They get rid of all of the nonsense, and episode 1, 2, and 3 are shocker to the brim with shit happening. It goes at such a crazy pace. It's not an amazing first arc, but the fact that it is over as quickly as it is makes it a lot better of an experience than it probably should be, or would have been if it was long and drawn out. So I was like, oh, this... Okay. Then it gets onto the second arc, which has what are called the Pillar Men. The story kind of follows on from the first arc and kind of delves more into the mask, which made Dio into a vampire man. So it's kind of, where did they come from? And that was actually pretty decent as well. I was like, oh, this is enjoyable. I see why people like Joseph Joestar, because he's a bit of a fucking chad. He's a bit of a rowdy boy. And when the tough gets tough, he gets going. That's his ultimate plan. If everything goes wrong, his ultimate plan is to run away, which is respectable. They do a lot of fun things in that. I moved on to season 2, which is the Stardust Crusader ones, which is probably the one that most people know of. You know, Jotaro, the guy that has the weird cap and the long cape, who's like buffer than Goku and is a 17-year-old. That's rough.
Yeah.
It's
because that's the one people like the most, isn't it?
I don't like it. It's 45 episodes, and 25 episodes is the first arc, and nothing happens. The basic premise is Dio's came back, and they have to stop him because when Dio came back, somehow they developed stands, which are psychic powered beings.
This is the thing, like when you stand for something, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So Dio came back. All of the Joestar family got stands, while other people already had them because they had psychic powers. And the mother of Jotaro developed hers, but because she's not a fighter, hers is killing her. So they've got to get to Egypt as quick as they can to beat Dio. They can't take planes because Dio knows where they are and he'll kill them and hurt innocent people. So they've got to do around the world in 60 days or something. It's either 60 or 30. It's however long it takes for her to be killed. And it takes 25 episodes to get to Egypt. That's a long time to what I would call dicking around, because it plays out very much like a Dragon Ball Z series. Yeah, each episode is a new stand user, and how do you beat them?
Right.
There is no character development in these 25 episodes. It is just what is the new stand user and how do we beat them. I find that fucking rough. I watched all 25. I got to Egypt and I was like, right, we're there. No, we're not, Mikey. Because we got to get from the like southern east coast of Egypt to Cairo. So what do you think we do, Mikey?
Walk?
We fight 9 more new opponents each episode to get there. And by episode 37 or something, I was like, I gotta skip to 40 because these last 5 episodes have to be the Dio stuff. No, they're not. So I imagine the Dio stuff's the last 3 or 4. And there's no character development from what I can see at all.
I think I can explain this because basically what you're saying is it started off as kind of running against the mold.
Yes.
For the genre, and then became the genre. Well, that sounds to me. I'm looking at the break. Like JoJo started in 1987 and is still going.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Apparently, like it's moved away from the original cast.
Yes. Yeah.
In an alternate universe or something. But so the first one, which is Phantom Blood, ran only in 1987.
All right, that one's okay.
It was 44 chapters, 5 volumes.
Right.
Battle Tendency, which was the next arc.
That one's really good.
That ran for 2 years, 1987 to 1989.
Right.
Again, about 6 or 7 volumes, so not a lot, right?
Yeah.
69 chapters. Stardust Crusaders.
Oh no.
Ran from 89 to 92. 152 chapters.
It feels it.
I hit my Mikey and I'm doing that a lot. Diamond is Unbreakable, which is the next one. 174 chapters.
Okay.
Golden Wind, 155. Stone Ocean, 158. Steel Ball, 95. Jojo Lion, currently on 94.
Okay.
Yeah. I might because when you said you were watching it after years, I was just like, oh, I'll have to, because at least I'll have something to talk about. I'll watch Phantom Blood and I'll watch Battle Tendency and I'll start Stardust. But if it gets boring, I'm quitting because I don't have the patience anymore. I do not have the patience anymore for shonen nonsense.
You will be quitting Stardust Crusaders.
Like
I guarantee.
I thought Demon Slayer is a beautiful show.
Yes.
But I don't have the patience for that pacing anymore.
No, Demon Slayer goes by faster.
Yes,
more stuff happens in Demon Slayer.
I made it quite far into Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
but I gave up.
I finished Demon Slayer and I enjoyed it for the most part, but it did get stodgy. Your foot got stuck in mud quite a few times through quite a few bits of it, but it ended on a nice high. And there was minor development of the characters and situations and stuff. There is, like I say, there's none here. They haven't even met Dio. None of the characters, like we know as the audience members who Dio is from Phantom Blood, but none of the cast do. They've never seen him. They have no connection to him. The only reason they're going to fight him is because they know through history he's a bad guy. And they need to save the mum. That's it. No. I don't see what the great thing about Stardust Crusaders is. I think it's one of those things where if you have the mindset where you can enjoy the situation of what the interesting idea or concept for the stand user is and how to get through that, maybe that's the thing that keeps you hooked. But I'm a guy that likes story progression and character development and that kind of stuff, and you don't get that. I didn't feel that you got that or haven't got that in Stardust Crusaders.
Without it being mean and it sounding mean, would it suit someone who's a big fan of One Piece?
I don't know. I haven't watched.
In terms of pacing, I mean,
I wouldn't know because the only One Piece I watched was when it was on Fox Kids, and I only watched. I watched that one, and I watched Luffy fight a clown that fell into parts and reassembled his body parts into a car, and I was like, I'm out.
In university, I watched 200 episodes of that.
Jesus!
In a weekend, there was so much speeding through. There was so little happening.
Oh yeah, I believe that because that was Naruto as well, and Bleach,
that's
Dragon Ball.
To be blunt, that's what killed the shonen genre for me. Those
totally.
kind of shows.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball at least has characters I really like, and some of which you do develop. So that's what holds me onto it, even though I get real annoyed with it sometimes.
Oh yeah,
like right now I'm real annoyed at manga, but most of these shows, like Naruto and Bleach and the big ones of what you'd call the heyday of the shonen series, can jump in a hole. My Hero Academia is what I held with the longest. Yeah. And that's lost me.
Yeah, I would agree. The thing that killed me for shonen was Naruto. Between the end of the story and Shippuden, they did the year of filler. And by the time Shippuden started, I stuck around with it for a little bit until the end of the first arc for that, and then it went into filler, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do filler anymore. It's literally wasting time when nothing happens.
Yeah, Naruto's got a lot of filler arcs.
The problem I hear is, like, Naruto sounds like it has some genuinely interesting stuff in there. The problem with it is it's buried under hours and hours and hours of nothing happening.
Yeah, because I read the manga, and the manga has atrocious pacing. Like, a day basically went on for 4 years. I think it was 4. It might have been 5.
It's Groundhog's Day.
And like the layout, and they had so many points where you're going like, this should be the ending. Nope, we're going on. This should be the ending. Nope, we're going on. And then it ended because it had to on Naruto versus Sasuke, and I'm just like, But Sasuke sucks. He's so bad as a character.
Just kiss.
Yes. You
Just
know what? I'd have been
kiss.
happier if they had. I would have been happier if this turned into like gay hentai than what it was.
I remember seeing like fan art where they got the cell animation and made it so it looked like they were kissing, and I was like, "Oh, that's like I didn't think it wasn't real," because I was like, it seems so believable. Especially with Hinata throwing herself at Naruto, I was like, it makes more sense for him to be wanting to be with Sasuke in a relationship.
But no, because both Naruto and Sasuke ended up with their love, their lady loves from the show. The girls who were interested in them.
Sakura, who's fucking useless and who doesn't have any fans.
God help you if you ever liked her in the show, because she stopped mattering a long time ago, but they wouldn't let her die.
Nobody likes Sakura. She literally has no fans. Sakura fans don't exist.
She had no purpose
at
the end of it. I remember the manga did one story that's like, we revived the three of them, but the team's back, and it's just like, she did nothing.
Yeah, I saw a meme from Spuden where it's like the boys were in trouble and she's like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm coming to save you." The next meme panel was, "We've got to save Sakura." I would have no.
When that Gaim episode where they had the filler for the movie.
Oh yeah,
where they had all the sports stars and it's just like Kota running. Don't worry, guys, I'm coming. Oh no, a fly.
Oh, I'm hoping the next season of JoJo is more akin to the first two bits, because I hear that there's another really good bit in JoJo, but I haven't got to that just yet. Yeah, but
that could be like people saying the Frieza saga is really good, and then you go like, yeah, if you cut off about half of it.
That's my concern, but we'll see. Because I'm at that point where if it starts getting slow and boggy like the Stardust Crusaders, I'm going to just start skipping large chunks of episodes again just to get through it, just to see what the fuss is. But like I say, it's surprising because I thought Season 1 was entertaining. It was genuinely good. Especially the second arc. I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, this is neat. Not like it's not going to blow your socks off or anything like that. But it's like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. So I did that. What else did I do? I watched. I don't know what it was, but I was looking on Twitter and I went, "Oh, that looks like a neat figure." And it was one of the G.I. Joe classified figures, the 6-inch ones. And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine. I'll buy one because it looks kind of neat. It looks kind of fun." Went online and it's like, "Oh, I can't buy any of them. They're all sold out on Kapow. Can I buy them online from America? Oh, they're really expensive. Oh, no. Oh, no." So it's been a lot of watching videos on these G.I. Joe classified figures, the Cobra ones, obviously, and going like, I'd like to get them. Nope, I can't get them because they're not in stock at all.
I'm not actually... apart from the fact that I know that the Destro that everyone wants, Pimp Daddy Destro, but I don't know much about the line.
That was the only one I was able to actually get on pre-order.
Oh.
I got that one on pre-order from Kapow, and because I was like, okay, if this is the only one I can get on pre-order, fine. It's on Kapow, but I have no idea when it's actually out.
I'm just looking at a picture of it now. For anyone who doesn't know, it's Destro with a gold mask, pimp glasses, a cape, burning money.
Yeah, the cape is a red cape, and then over the top of it is a lion or leopard skin.
Yeah.
As it should be. I would have liked the Cobra Commander. I even saw that Hasbro Plus has a more comic or cartoon version where his blue is a lot brighter. I went, okay, well, why not? We'll have a look on the Hasbro Pulse because I've never done a Hasbro Pulse version. It's like, oh, it's sold out as well. Of course. Never mind. One of the greatest things that I saw was the Baroness, and it's the first time I've ever seen a Baroness figure from Hasbro that actually looks like the Baroness. Because most of the time her figures look ugly as sin and not like the Baroness. So I was like, holy crap, it looks like the Baroness. Well done, Hasbro. You finally made a good looking Baroness figure after 35 years or something. So props to you on that. So I'm just gonna have to hold out until once I'd really like the Cobra Trooper. He looks quite fun. The Baroness, kind of, but she comes with a bike, so it kind of jacks up her price to silly amounts. And I just want the Baroness rather than a shitty bike. Maybe normal Destro, Cobra Commander, but I'd prefer the Hasbro Pulse version, and the Red Ninja. And there's also an Arctic version of Storm Shadow, which looks quite nice because they decided to do that before a normal Storm Shadow for some unknown reason.
A bit weird.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to get them at some point. But
yeah, the Baroness does actually look like Baroness.
yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And
she
again with
looks
a
really good.
snake and a weird... That bike... Yeah, no, people want... People just want Baroness.
Yeah, the bike's kind of lame, isn't it?
I mean... I see what they're going for.
Yeah. It's
But
just
no.
lame. The snake's a gun, believe it or not.
Oh.
Or
Snake Eyes comes with
something.
No, the wolf. I was going to say dog, but he comes with a wolf.
Yeah. Wolfie.
Yes, Wolfie.
Wolfie the dog.
Wolfie the dog.
Well, no, that's what you call your cat, Wolfie.
This is my cat, Rover.
Oh, I'm angry now. I'm a dog and I'm pissed. I did a podcast with Mr. George Day on the Fluff and Hammer, so that'll be up at some point when young Mr. Gruff gets that edited together. And I think that is it, apart from the usual menagerie of the week of work. Yeah, that's. Oh, I sent Gruff a package as well for him to build stuff because he gave me stuff. So I was like, I'll give you some Warhammer stuff as well. And that's been it. That's been my week because I can't think of anything else that's worth talking about, really. Oh, Mikey, did you see new Batman trailer?
I saw all the DC trailers.
Yes. Yeah. What did you like the look of new Batman?
Interesting approach to the hair.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
And boy, he looks like a guy who was hired to play the vampire from Twilight in a Batman suit.
My first thought was, oh wow, it's a nice different take on Batman having it all dark, realistic, and gritty. We haven't had that before.
No, hey, Catwoman, right?
Yep.
But what if
Yes.
it was just her balaclava has pointy bits?
Oh.
What if?
Ooh.
Oh, what's next? Give her goggles?
No. Give her powers coming from an Egyptian cat that breathes in a mouse when she dies.
Or she fell off a building and a bunch of cats tried to eat her.
That was better than the actual Catwoman movie.
Yeah, looked like Catwoman for one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But hey, it's a dark take on Batman.
Again.
What an original approach.
Yeah, I
And
did.
before everyone goes like, what would you do for Batman? I don't know. Anything?
Not Batman. Because
Not
I want a break
Batman.
from Batman. I'm begging you for a Batman break.
I got when Gotham Knights the game got announced, I was just like, oh no.
There is one good thing I took away from the trailer.
Hmm?
Do you see the guy who looked like a Joker punk?
Yeah.
The joke I saw people making, and I made it as soon as I saw it as well, was, wow, that guy looks like Doug Walker from that guy with the glasses, who Batman violently beats up. I don't know if it was intentional, but it has an incredible Doug Walker look to him. So it made me chuckle. I was like, oh.
Unfortunately, you've just explained the review for the Batman by Doug Walker.
Oh, no,
will have
I
a skit.
have. Oh.
Which will have a skit of him being beaten up by Batman.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yep.
Oh.
I'm not enthused. I saw the Suicide Squad stuff and the Suicide Squad game, which apparently takes place in the Arkham universe.
Well, it's done by Rocksteady, so I'm not surprised.
And I'm like, okay.
It'll play like Batman.
It's a multiplayer.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Like
I care
Avengers,
even less
so
about
that-
it then.
Or like you can play solo, but it's also multiplayer.
Sure.
But just like Avengers, the world's best superhero game.
Yes, that's what you did as well, didn't you? You got to play more
played-
of the beta.
I played the beta of Avengers.
The fact that you
Which I
didn't want to
forget.
talk about it, I think, speaks volumes.
It weren't great. Like I saw someone say like, "Hey, at least Kamala's the main character, so I don't care if it's good or not." And I was just like,
Oh, that's a really bad low bar standard
"So
to have.
would
for a
you
game.
rather you? Is it too much to ask to have Kamala in a good game?
Apparently.
Could she be the main character of a good game? I mean, I've never liked her power set. I'm just gonna come out there and say that I've just never been into it.
No, it's just Mr. Fantastics. Right?
Less, but less.
Is it? Oh, no.
Yeah. But having read some of her books, I do like Kamala as a character.
Right.
I like her. She's very approachable, likable, and she's a nice, not insulting take on the teenage fan fiction generation.
Okay.
Like, she would have a Tumblr account, and she would have a lot of dodgy stuff on there, but she'd also be, and she would have shipping wars, but none of it felt mean-spirited.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. But boy, the game, oh dear. Gameplay of that game ain't great, and then the multiplayer bit ain't great, and the fucking microtransactions are fucking insulting.
Really? How so? Oh, the terrible costumes, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
And they're not. Oh no! And they like, this game will beat PS4 Spider-Man for sales and everything else. And I was just like, you know what you should have done to get those sales? Mm-hmm. Not release the beta.
I thought it looked art style wise kind of ugly, personally.
Yeah, it's a soft MCU in everything. By the way, it's a soft. Like, Bruce kind of looks like what's his face, Ruffalo. Yeah. Except more cartoony, and like Hulk is very MCU as well. Mm-hmm. Like, barely speaks. And like, before someone says anything in the comics, Hulk never shuts up.
No, he's a talkie.
He just doesn't talk like you do.
Yeah.
But the gameplay was so not great and so repetitive.
Ultimate Alliance looked like Ultimate Alliance 3 for the Nintendo Switch, which is kind of a very, very basic game. Looks like it has more to it, at least visually. It's got a lot more pop to it. Like, you look at Ultimate Alliance 3 and you go, oh, that's Ultimate Alliance 3, and everyone looks like a comic book character. Everything's bright and colourful. That's what I want, at least. I don't want it, obviously, for the Nintendo Switch, but that's what I would look for from a Marvel game, at least.
Yeah, like, I want something that's not trying to be like, ooh, a movie. It's so serious for being a movie. Especially based off the MCU, the least serious movies man ever made. Like, you could tell better, more serious stories if you made it more comic booky.
Yeah.
Remember, hey, Spider-Man PS4. The best superhero game ever made.
Yeah.
Has a phenomenal story.
It does.
I am very looking forward to the Miles spin-off thing. But I do want a Spider-Man 2 based around Peter because I want to see how that story ends. Peter. But like, if you give Miles a full spin-off game, I will play the shit out of that. You give me a Spider-Verse game done by the same guys, I'll play the absolute shit out of that. But yeah, no, it wasn't great. And like, those other trailers for, like, hey Andy, people got real vocal about that Justice League thing.
What Justice League thing?
The Justice League trailer for the Snyder Cut.
Okay. I didn't watch it because I was like, I don't need to watch it.
I did watch it, but everyone was going like, oh my god, all this new footage, and I genuinely couldn't tell.
Okay. No, it is all new from what I hear people saying.
But so why does Cyborg look so shitty still?
Because it probably isn't finished footage, I would guess.
I really hope it's not finished footage.
Oh, no, I think it'll come out like that.
Cyborg looked like he did in the movie, and Cyborg CGI in the original take of the movie was bad.
Oh, no, yeah, they weren't going to improve that.
Why not?
Because they only have so much money. They can't fix the entire movie of bad CGI Cyborg.
They redesigned Steppenwolf.
Have they? Okay.
Yeah, completely redesigned him.
Right. Maybe most people found
I should say,
Cyborg
it doesn't look better. It looks different.
Okay.
But the Cyborg CGI was infamous.
Oh,
I remember that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look great. But apparently it's going to be released like 4 parts. 1 hour, like 1 4-hour movie. Really, Zack Snyder's original cinema cut was going to be 4 hours long.
Oof.
Really?
Oof. I can believe Scott Snyder. No, I can believe that.
Exactly. I just don't believe that was ever going to be released.
No.
Like, if you're going to if you're going to tell me like, oh, that was the original plan for cinema, no, it wasn't.
It's nice for the people that were wanting the Snyder cut to come out, though.
I think it's great if you really are invested in it, which a lot of people are.
Yeah.
It was a pretty movie that I think is going to be still a pretty movie, except more joyless.
Maybe, yeah.
Because one of the things Whedon was brought on to do was add a bit of humor to it.
That's true, yeah. But that made the entire tone seem very wonky at that point.
Yes. So maybe that will work better. Maybe we won't have to deal with that bloody CGI mustache.
Again, I think you're putting in too much hope.
Yeah, and a lot of people got really like crazy happy about the Suicide Squad trailer.
The game.
For the movie.
Oh yeah, with all of the actors in. I was like, okay, doesn't
cool.
Good
Names.
Yeah, lots of names.
And boy, am I looking forward to none of these mattering except Margot Robbie. And maybe Idris Elba.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with all these cast members, how many of them are actually going to be the cast who matter, and how many are just going to be in the background to die?
Yeah, cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Also, oh, good. More of this. I was like, they're doing a Flash movie, and they've made it. Like, did you hear what they were doing a Flash? They've announced.
No, I don't think
Flash is a multiverse story.
Oh, well, Flash isn't allowed his own thing. He's not important enough.
Really?
Yeah, no one likes Flash.
There's, like, whichever Flash you're doing, there's quite a few arcs to adapt.
What you don't understand, Mikey, is the Flash is quite a boring character, and he doesn't have much going on him.
But they're doing Flashpoint, the entire point of which is to erase their bullshit.
Yeah, but the important thing is it's Barry of the Flash is a framing device for all of the other characters to have more important stories.
I know why you're doing this, and it's hurting me.
Yeah, because you know that's probably the thought process of a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, he runs fast.
That's all.
But
he
I also
does.
know like people don't want to do Flash and stuff because that is expensive to animate.
Yeah, I imagine
he doesn't have easy animation powers.
I don't know. Then maybe do a CGI movie, like I don't know, Spider-Verse,
or like I would love that.
Yeah, they won't do
because
it
you could do what you could do is just do the whole because then it's animated film, do the whole Flash family.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can have Barry as your central character, everyone else is secondary, and the whole thing is about how family is important.
You can literally do anything you want when it's animation, or you have more of an option because you're not constrained by, we need to make this real thing that isn't real, it's a CGI, and make it look like it exists in the real world at the same time as these actors.
Because people won't take it seriously.
It's a thing, unfortunately.
Anyway, that's a rant for another day.
It is. Mikey, where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Pello, and you can find me on YouTube as UWolfie3, although I don't post there very much anymore. And you can send us messages on the moonbase2@gmail.com and on Twitter, on Facebook, and Libsyn, and everywhere else.
Woo!
Yep. What about you?
You can find me on Twitter as CCTFW, on YouTube as Cobra Commander TFW. You can find this podcast, as Mikey said, on Moonbase 2 forums, Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. You can also head to patreon.com/Moonbase2. And if you do $2 each month, you get the extended version from the files of Teletran 2. You also get extra podcasts like the one Mikey did with Dave a week early. And you also get the special show, Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about a special subject in detail, which Mikey is sorting out for this month, if I remember correctly.
Should be recorded next week.
Oh, very good. So at some point next week, it'll probably go for you pretty people to listen to.
Do we have any feedback or anything from your side?
I don't think so. I don't remember seeing anything going down.
Have one, but I'm not sure if it's... I'm going to read it out, but it might be something we can kind of rush through just because of time. Okay. So this is from Skirt from last week, who appreciates the fact that the post didn't fail him. Andy's recent comment that he started watching Psycho-Pass made me think of an anime recommendation type question I'd like to put to you both. Ooh. What are each of your top 5 to 6 moody moving animes? Moody moving animes.
What's moody moving, would you say?
Emotional, traumatic, psychological, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. The fun ones. Okay.
Yep. With autumn quickly approaching here in Canada, it seems as good a time as any to hide inside and binge those type of shows. Good. Depression. Violet Evergarden or Made in Abyss. Still hoping for a second season of that, but also kind of afraid it will to actually get it. Would be other examples of what I'd mean by moody. Those are two very different shows.
And two very different moods as well. Violet Evergarden's a nice, happy kind of sad, while Made in Abyss is just a, oh boy, oh no.
Yeah. Hope you and yours are all healthy and doing well, Andy and Mikey. Yeah. Skirt.
Cool.
So, I've been thinking about this for a few days. It's actually hard for me to pin down. I've seen so many.
I can send out if of course Scott hasn't seen it, not a series but a good anime movie that gives you the feels. Your Name.
Yeah.
That'll
Steins
make you
Gate.
cry. Yeah,
Steins
yeah,
Gate would be one I
Gate.
definitely recommend. But Your Name is very, very good.
It's a happy kind of sad though. It's like, oh geez, that hurts.
Steins Gate varies its type of sad.
Yes. It's an up and downy.
ReZero.
Yeah.
They're for a very certain type of mood.
Fate Zero. It's a Uroboshi, so Fate Zero is pretty good.
There's what I cannot remember the name of it, but it's on Netflix, so you should be able to find it if you Google the topic. It's about a psychic girl who joins an occult club, and the moody side, it's mostly kind of light and comedic at times, but the moody side comes of it because she has a really abusive relationship with her mother because her mother has always felt she's a big fat liar.
I actually thought you were gonna go with what's it called, Elfen Lied? Is that what it's called? Because you said psychic girl, and I was like, oh, moody. That is certainly a moody anime.
That is moody of a sort.
Of a sort.
But Elfen Lied, you got it now. But the show, which I can't remember the name of, but like I said, it's on Netflix, so Google Psychic Girl Anime Netflix. You should be able to find it. It has these really interesting dark moments to it, despite the fact it's mostly kind of light.
Yeah.
For an Urobochi one that's light with some hopeful ending, but does have some pretty heavy dark twists, I'd say Gargantua on the Vergirius planet. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting one. I'm trying to pin down moody. We've seen a lot.
It's true. This is the problem. It's like trying to remember all and peel it out from the brain.
Oh dear.
Code Geass has a good bit of feelings in it as well.
Yeah,
I'd say Code Geass is also just a really good anime, I would say.
Yeah, no. Code Geass is worth your time.
Yeah.
The Monogatari series, if you're up for talking.
Yeah, it's a lot of talkiness.
I love it. And it has some of the wildest visuals at times. But
and the problem is, you will lose a lot of the jokes and stuff because we're not Japanese speakers.
Yeah,
you'll still be able to get it, some of it, but not nearly as much.
What works for me with that show is the psychological stuff.
Right. Okay.
And there is a ton of it. Absolute ton.
You just like the toothbrushing scene.
I like every scene, not just toothbrushing. But it's very, very Japanese at times. Also, beware of girls with staplers.
It's fair.
Yeah. But I like what it does psychologically. It goes bizarre but interesting. Be prepared for some heavy stuff though. When it does get into some of the core concepts, because you'll have really light episodes for a long time and then just by the way,
surprise.
But yeah, Violet Evergarden is the show. There's a few OVAs I've been meaning to watch for that, but I just never got around to it. I love
I'm not
that show.
sure I need to see any more of it. The one season of it felt like
complete.
that was it. Yeah, it's this is good.
Violet's life is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Heartwarming too. It's nice.
There's the Wolf Children, I think it's called, is an interesting one. About a woman who has children with a wolf spirit, and that she has the children, and they're torn between two worlds.
Okay.
So that's kind of an interesting one. Yeah, it's difficult to pin them down. It really, really is. If I think about it during the week, I will do up a little list of my top recommendations when I have some time to think about it.
I mean, those ones that we've mentioned will definitely keep you going if you haven't seen them, of course.
Yeah, ReZero is kind of ReZero and Steins Gate would be my number ones if I were you. Because they both have very emotional moments.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And they're both very good.
Yes. And ReZero's got season 2 at the moment as well, so
yes.
It's current. Or will be current if you enjoyed season
1. Also, just watch trigger shows as my general recommendation on life.
Yeah, not really hard, moody shows, but they're usually good regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might have some mood in the Akane stuff, but I wouldn't pin it down and say, "Oh, this is heavy."
Yeah, no, it's just hey, this is fucked up.
Yep. And then back to the fun.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think that'll do us then, Mr. Mikey. So thank you guys for listening to the show. Hope it's been fun and entertaining for you all. And of course, Mr. Mikey, thank you for joining me yet again for pooping.
You still owe me money for this.
Oh, I thought you meant for pooping. I was going, no, that's for free, son. I'll give you my poo anytime. I make it on demand for the most part. Good. Yeah.
Slightly worrying you can do it on demand.
Well, everyone has their own skills.
Probably get that checked.
Maybe. We'll see. So until next week, everybody, we will see you next week for more Moonbase 2 Stuffadoos. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, we padded that one out.
You are now leaving Moonbase 2.